Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Greater Columbus Sports Commission's virtual sports report presented by Marathon. I'm Linda Logan. I'm the Executive Director of the Sports Commission, and I'm your host today. And so happy to have our guests here from the Columbus Blue Jackets, Kathryn Dobbs and Nick Foligno. And welcome, everyone.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes. Well, Kathryn, I'll start with you just so our audience gets to know a little bit more about you. And I know you've been with the team for several years. Could you talk a little bit about what your role is?
Sure. I started with the Blue Jackets about 5 years ago. My role currently is Chief Marketing Officer. And in that role, I'm involved in all things related to marketing and communication. I have oversight of 8 of our business units. That's everything from fan development to game presentation, broadcasting, business intelligence. So in addition to working with those 8 areas, my day-to-day focus is really on building and strengthening the brand.
Well, it's great to see you today. I know that today's the last day of school, right? So your daughter's last day. And
no one's happier than me.
all right. Well, Nick, we all know you, of course, as the captain of the team and such a great representative of Columbus. So welcome. And how's everything been going for you being at home?
Good. Yeah, that's that hat I put in the closet as captain of the team now. I'm just dad, principal, janitor. I said I'm all the hats now for school. So I'm jealous because I think we have another week of school left, Kathryn, before we can be done. So, it's been awesome. I've tried to use this time as a chance to just be with my family. It's one complaint I think we always have as athletes that we don't get enough time with our families. So I'm really enjoying that. And obviously just monitoring what's going on in the world and thinking of everyone that's helping us right now on the front lines.
Well, I should say to our audience too, you will have the chance to ask questions through the chat box on the Zoom today, and we'll try to take as many as we can at the end of our program. So some housekeeping notes there. So maybe we just jump right in and talk a little bit about how this pandemic has affected, maybe Kathryn first from the front office point of view, and then certainly Nick, what you're seeing with the team and the league right now.
Sure. I mean, I think like most organizations, our first priority was and continues to be the health and safety of our coaches, our players, our staff, and our fans. So, at first it was about getting everybody home, working remotely, very, very proud of the way that people have acclimated to this situation. And then the emphasis has really been around, how can we educate and inform our community? And as we've settled in and got used to this idea of sheltering in place and supporting each other, we are in the business of entertaining, but what does that look like right now? We've looked at how we can entertain, engage, stay connected with our season ticket holders, our fans, our community partners. It's really, really important to us that people know how much we appreciate them and letting everyone know at this point that we're all in this together.
Yeah. So Nick, I'm sure from the team perspective, you all are feeling the same way and trying to navigate.
Yeah, it's funny for us. We go from seeing each other every single day to when this all happened it's like an abrupt end to the season. So I think navigating through that at first was hard. I think we were all missing each other, and we tried to get on FaceTime calls with each other, and actually did one as a group, and it was a disaster. It was everybody yelling into the phone, so we realized quickly that wasn't going to work. But just getting over that hump of missing each other, and now it's the part where like Kathryn said, we're realizing this is bigger than sports. What's gone on. I think the information that we're getting, I think our organization has done an outstanding job of informing us about what's going on. And then we try to stay connected with our fan base. It's so important for us as players to support the communities that we're in. I see a lot of the work that guys are doing around here just to show people that we appreciate. We're all residents of Columbus. We're all part of this community. So we're trying to make sure people realize that we want to help and support in any way we can, whether that's just videos we can send to encourage people or whatever. We want people to know that the support they give us on the ice, we can reciprocate it now and try to give back that way. So, this is given a human aspect where a lot of times we're in the spotlight. Well, right now we're just like everybody else and concerned and worried about people and wanting to see us get back to full health. And hockey is kind of taking a back seat, which it should right now. you know, we're excited about the prospect of getting back out in front of our fans when it's safe. But right now, our main priority is just everyone to, you know, take care of themselves, and us to encourage everyone to do that.
I think both of you and the organization are examples of giving back year round. So I know that certainly it seems first and foremost right now because of what we're going through, but I think, you know, there's so many great examples around the community of the philanthropy of the Blue Jackets. And I know, Kathryn, that's what you oversaw at one time primarily, was the foundation. Can you talk a little bit about how that work has kind of not just paid off in the but what you're seeing now?
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I really think that, I mean, the way that individuals and organizations have responded during this time is incredible. And giving back has been an important part of who we are since our inception. So this of course is just an opportunity for us to get out there. What I think is great is, you know, if everyone finds a way, everyone has something they care about, everyone finds a way to give back, whether that's their time or financial contribution. And so we've seen everything from, as Nick mentioned, the PSAs and those personal messages of encouragement that have gone out to frontline workers. Our foundation has auctions to support local nonprofit organizations like the Community Shelter Board and Choices, the YMCA of Central Ohio. Our players and Lady Jackets have been involved. They've donated more than 7,000 meals to Ronald McDonald House. Recently, Pierre-Luc Dubois and Oliver Bjorkstrand donated over 600 pizzas to 29 Kroger locations for employees. So people are finding ways. If you haven't already done so, you can sign up for Cam Atkinson's virtual 5K race coming up June 4th through the 7th. It's for the Force Network Fund. Proceeds from that race will benefit Ohio Health so that they can purchase testing equipment. So lots of great examples of people finding a way to give back and help out, and it's very encouraging.
So Nick, probably when you came to Columbus, you understood sort of the legacy of Mr. McConnell and all that they did behind the scenes so humbly, and you seem to embody that yourself, and you're really someone that doesn't like to maybe get the attention that you should. So talk a little bit about maybe the legacy of maybe the family and the ownership and the team and those shoes that you are filling now.
Well, I think that's what resonated with me when I first got here. You know, you could see McConnell kind of branded all over the town, and what he's meant and that family has meant to this community. And I said, if I can work for an owner like that, you know, I think it embodies exactly how I feel as a person, that you give back. You get so much from the community, you want to give back. And I think they've done an outstanding job of that, not just with the hockey team, but with what they've done to really, you know, push the needle here in Columbus, and the way they've helped in healthcare and so many other aspects. So, you know, that family to me, I hold in high regard, and the people that work for them. You know, Mike Priest is another guy, and Kathryn's an extension of that. And you can tell they bring in good people, and you look in our organization, I mean, the people that they brought in. So, you know, I think they're serious about, you know, what it means to be a Blue Jacket, what it means to, you know, wear that sweater and to represent this team in our city. We take that seriously for any guy that comes in. So I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to be, you know, a guy that's trying to push in that regard, and, you know, try to continue to do the good work that the McConnell family has done. And I think a lot of guys take that to heart. She mentioned Cam Atkinson, one of our leaders, you know, stepping up and doing that for Ohio Health. And, you know, I think we understand how important it is because of the way they've kind of set the table for us as a family. And we really feel proud to play for an organization like that believes in that. So, you know, I can't say enough good things about what they've meant to this community and to myself, and you know, the opportunities they've given us to you know, continue our good work.
Kathryn, do you want to add? I know Nick's very humble about some of the things that he's been doing.
Oh my goodness, it's probably a highlight of my time at the Blue Jackets to be able to work alongside Nick and Janelle and some of the wonderful things they've done and the way they've supported the community. So it's nice, Nick, she's given me an opportunity to brag on you, but
Plug
you know,
my ears.
I think what's so special is not only to be able to tell that story and talk about why it's important and what it means as a Blue Jacket, but also to lead the way, to show others how to give and what it means to give and ways they can get involved. And So certainly the gift that I had the pleasure of working with Nick and Janelle on to support Nationwide Children's Hospital and the hospital in Boston. And they've done all kinds of great work, but I think we should make mention, Nick, of your upcoming Heart Walk.
Oh, yeah.
I happen to remember the date because it's my birthday, August 22nd.
Yeah.
But maybe you could tell them a little bit about how you're co-chairing that event.
Yeah, I think my daughter's story has been well documented. Obviously, she was born with a congenital heart defect, and if it weren't for the great work of people at Nationwide Children's Hospital and Boston Children's Hospital, we wouldn't probably have had a family to start with. So we feel forever indebted to them and what they've done for us. So it's another way for us to give back. Where we've signed up to join the American Heart Association in their Heart Walk on August 22nd, and I think we're fully prepared that it might be a virtual walk like CAMS is. 5K run, but just knowing that we can continue to help, and that's always been our mandate. Whether it's bringing awareness, what the American Heart Association does, and here in Columbus, especially the Columbus chapter. I mean, it's fantastic some of the work they've been able to do, and I know some part of it's actually going to COVID help as well. So they've kind of been able to channel that as well, because I mean it affects the heart and people with heart disease, obviously, and so it's just nice to team up with somebody that shares our vision of trying to give back. And we're really excited to be the honorary chairs of that and just help. I mean, our daughter's story is one of many, and we know that, and it's going to continue to be, unfortunately, so many more stories. So if we can just bring awareness to heart health, to what's being done out there in research, we feel like we're making a difference. And that's all you try to do is you get so much, you try to give back, and I'm actually proud to be able to do it as a family. I think it's so good for my kids to see, and my daughter especially, that all the help that she's been given along the way, now she can start to give back as well. So
well, and in preparing for today, I did a lot of reading about your family, and not only your immediate family with your wife and your children, but also that you have a lot of hockey history with your brother and your father. And are you staying in touch not only with your teammates, but also maybe encouraging words for your brother who's also in the league?
Yeah, it's been special. Just him and I don't really get to talk much throughout the year, just with how busy our schedules are. So just being able to talk to him, and he's got a little girl, and more the family aspect. I'm big on family, as you could probably tell. So just to be able to reconnect with everybody in that way, and it's just been so nice to see him and see him being a dad and get the videos and get to see her and my sisters as well. I have two older sisters that have kids, and my dad's up in Sudbury, and so he's just loving. He's sad. He wants to see all his He doesn't care about us kids, I've learned. He just wants to see his grandkids. But it's just nice that we get on Zoom calls like this and get to see each other a little bit more than we normally would. So we're trying to make the most of it. Like anyone, I feel like anyone on this call, you're trying to take a bad situation and turn it into good, and reconnect with family, and I hope it makes it a priority going forward for people that maybe let that slip. It's such an important part of your life if you can, and we feel very blessed to have such a great family.
How are the players staying sort of active and in shape, and knowing that the season could resume, or obviously just for your own mental health, if that's part of what you're advising your teammates?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think anyone, whether you have a history of it or not, mental health is so important during this time as well. I mean, there's days where, you feel depressed, and, it's amazing how just by, looking at how daunting this has been for some of these days now, where, you don't see an end in sight, or you don't know who to believe or what's going on. And I think for everybody as just humans, that's one thing I've been worried about with my teammates. So I've tried to stay connected with those guys. I know they're all working out. I mean, we have an incredible commitment in our team to, first of all, we're all afraid of John Tortorella. So I think everybody wants to make sure we're in good shape, but if we do come back, but that's something I never have to worry about with our guys. I think they've all taken that pretty seriously, in that commitment. It's just the mental health side where, there's some guys who live alone. So I'm glad they got a chance to go back near family. So those are all really important things I think everybody deals with, whether you're an athlete or anybody else. I mean, we all have those human emotions, and it's so important right now to continue to focus on your mental health and really do what you need to, have that, be at the forefront right now.
So Kathryn, I'm sure from the front office point of view too, that you all are getting the advice of all the right people, whether it's the governor's office, CDC, your health partners, and all of that too. talk a little bit about how that's impacting your day-to-day work.
Well, I think, the situation has been and continues to be so fluid for everyone, as you try to understand what we're facing or what things could look like. And so, yes, we have stayed in connection with all of those resources. The league is really taking the lead on all of those things. And I think they've done a great job in trying to keep us informed on the journey.
And I know just as a community, the story is out there that the league would like to finish, but there's a lot of things that if there's 1,000 steps in the process, maybe we're into it by a few hundred steps, and just understanding what that could look like. And I know there's, was a story today, but I think we're all, hopeful of that, but you all probably are like everyone else in that wait and see mode.
Absolutely. It's weekly calls trying to understand. The league is committed to trying to award a Stanley Cup, and to do so exploring all kinds of scenarios, but in trying to understand how it could be done safely. But there's no timetable, there's no decisions. We've heard that various hub cities have been considered, Columbus being on that list. Of course, we know we have a great city. We know we have great facilities. We do a bang up job. We would absolutely do everything we could to support the league should we go down that road. But right now it's a wait and see.
Yeah. Well, I believe it or not, we've gone through our 20 minutes here and we have so many questions in the queue. I'm going to ask Jen Cartmill, our Director of Marketing, to jump in, and let's start with those questions.
Good morning. Our first question is actually from a retired teacher, and it's for Nick. She is asking, what books do your kids like to read? And thank you for all that you do.
Well, thank you very much. You know what? My daughter is really big into Junie B. Jones, which is, it's like a cute chapter book that she started reading. She's in first grade, so she's getting big into chapter books. So I've been reading those with her. My boys like anything with superheroes, or we love these books. Actually, our assistant coach's wife, Mary Shaw, she actually authored these books called Brady. They're kind of hockey books based loosely on her son and some stories. So my boys love those Brady books. So yeah, we definitely do a lot of reading at night, and I think it's just really neat that I now at a point where my daughter's reading to me. So I really enjoyed that time with her.
That's great. Our next question is, NHL Network said this morning we might have a 2014 playoff if season resumes. Do you know what that would look like?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many scenarios. I think that's the hardest part, like the speculation, and obviously that they're going off of some informed comments from other people. But I think just it's hard to speculate right now. There's so much, like Linda mentioned, there's so many steps to get to that point. So I think it'd be premature and immature on our part to say this is how it's going to go. I think the 2014 makes the most sense in a lot of regards. But how that'll work, I think, is still being decided. That's why you haven't seen any more. So I would love to give you more information. If I had it, I had no issues sharing it. It just, I don't think anyone knows. I think that's kind of been the guidelines we're trying to work within. But, really to hammer something down right now, I think it's just too early to say because there's so many other factors that go into it. And we have to make sure we do our due diligence in that process because the safety and everything else is so important right now. We're still not out of the woods by any means, and we have to make sure we respect that.
And this question may have a similar sentiment, Nick, but a viewer asked, will the 2020-2021 season get pushed past October?
I think that's definitely, in order to like Gary Bettman has mentioned, he wants to see a Stanley Cup champion this year. So I think in order for that to happen, there's going to be a real possibility of that being the case. But again, it's hard to speculate. That's where I think we all find ourselves, even us as players, even the league. This is such a time in life that no one's prepared for, and unprecedented moments, and so. There's no rule book, there's no guidelines here, and I think everyone's trying to learn on the go. So I think if we had to, in order to make it a successful year and to get this season in, then absolutely, I think if we can make it work, they'll push the season back a little bit. But I know they're still committed to making sure we play 82 games next year, and we'll see where things go.
Great. It's been over 1 year since the Blue Jackets beat Tampa Bay. What do you remember about that series, looking back on it?
Oh my, there's so many things. The look on the Tampa Bay players' faces was one. No, the probably the best thing that I remember is just the arena after Game 4. Just how big a moment that was for our organization, for our city. The bond that we created with our fan base. I think just being able to give them a sense of satisfaction of how far we've come as an organization, and to be able to enjoy that together. If you win on the road, it's not the same thing. To be able to have that in the home rink and put them away and have the cannon go off and the excitement and just seeing people's faces is something I'll never forget. Looking around and I'm talking not just fans, I'm talking people that day one staff that have been there, and security guards, people that have worked and cleaned that arena for us. I mean, you could just see how much it meant to people. And that's what I was just so proud of. And is a big reason why I just love the city. Everyone is so invested in this team, and you could really feel that. I'm sure Kathryn has, a story as well.
Well, I just remember how I was crying like a baby when it was all over. And I'll tell you, when they just replayed those games a couple weeks ago, I watched and I cried again.
That's true. That's true passion right there. I love it. It's awesome.
So it sounds like a viewer wants to know a little bit of dirt on Coach Torts. So tell us something that we don't know about him.
What don't you know about Torts? He's actually a softie. No, you know what? He's, I don't know if you don't know, but I think it's just the misconception about Torts is he's this brash, abrasive guy. He cares so much about his team, and I think that's what you respect about him. Sometimes, he does get emotional and it can be hard to hear, but he is the first guy to come to you if he thinks he stepped over the line, and he just wants to make you better. He wants to make this organization better. And that's his goal as a coach. And I think you respect that. So, for us, we love playing for him. That's not a lie. That every guy you ask him, that they love the passion that he coaches with, and it rubs off on us, and it's made us who we are. I mean, look at the way this team has been impacted by Torts, and obviously the players go out and do the job, but he spearheaded a lot of this, and we really respect. We really respect what he's done for us.
Great. Go ahead, Linda.
No, I was just wondering, it looks like that might be our last question. Oh, no, there's more. We'll keep going.
We'll take one more. What's your special bond this year with Elvis? Is that bond any different with Bob last year?
Yeah, I mean, every bond is different. I mean, I'm not going to discount Sergey. Him and I had a great relationship, and he's meant so much to this organization. And I think he'll be remembered in the right way down the road. But what I always appreciate about goalies is, they're the guys that are the last line of defense. So, all the glory and all the shame comes on them a lot of times, and the pressure that's put on, especially a young goalie. And we got two great young goalies in Korpisalo and Merzlikins. And, I just love them. If you know them as people like I do, Corpy's one of the funniest guys, I know. And Elvis is this, he's this persona of a rock star, but he's a kid right now trying to figure his way out in the league. So, I want to make sure I put an arm around those guys to make sure they feel as important as they are to this team. They are truly, as Bob was for our team, these guys are the exact same way. They're the backbone, whether they're ready for it or not. And I think they've shown they're ready for it. So, those little moments that you can have with them, I think help make them feel just as big a part of it as they are. And as they mature and start to understand themselves even more, I think it just allows our bond to grow. So I love that moment at the end of games. First of all, it's because we won. So I love hugging those guys and seeing how happy they are. But just bringing them into the room. I mean, goalies are kind of known as weird guys, to be honest. So it just makes them feel a little bit more part of the team.
Well, I think that as we conclude, I'd like to give you both an opportunity maybe to share anything else with our audience. Maybe start with Kathryn, maybe some closing remarks or questions.
Well, I mean, I just, I guess a thank you to all of our fans out there who are staying connected with us. A thanks to Nick and our players. I mean, the opportunity we've had to have this unprecedented access to them during this time, and the things that they have done. I know Nick's read stories for us, but the PSAs, the special messages, I just think it's incredible what we've been able to do during this time that we wouldn't have been able to do. So I'm not sure there's been a busier guy than Nick, but our heartfelt thanks to everybody out in the community right now, as we all try to help each other. And this is a really nice opportunity to spend time with you, Linda, and Nick too. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I echo Kathryn's sentiments. Obviously, what our organization has done, to continue the support that we've always believed in all year long. I don't think it goes away just because of a pandemic. I think they've stepped up even more, and I think it shows their commitment to this community, and that's made us proud to be a part and jump on board as well. And you can see how much that part means to everybody in the organization, which is, I think, why we're so respected and appreciated. But it really comes down to the fans. I mean, you guys, you're the ones that now we get a chance to show how much we care about you. I mean, it's hard with our schedule when we're actually playing. So right now, I think every guy's taking it upon themselves to make sure you realize how much we appreciate it. And we're supporting you now, whether you're on the front lines or going through a hard time. We're trying to make sure that we appreciate when you come and support us after a rough couple weeks. And this is real life stuff now, and we're all part of this. And so we care deeply about this community, and I'm really proud to be a part of it and continue, like you said, the McConnell legacy. And and so we're really enjoying that connection that we're able to make with our fans, and we thank you guys for it, and really look forward to getting back in front of you when this is all safe and ready to do so.
Well, thanks to both of you. You're such great leaders in Columbus, and we're so lucky to have you both. So just as we end the program today, I just wanted to let you know we're doing this again next week, 11 o'clock, with Jerry Snodgrass from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Again, thanks to Marathon for really being our presenting sponsor, and just thank you all for joining us week after week. We didn't know we'd still be sitting at home when we started this a couple months ago now, but stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.